A few months ago, we were all mourning the retirement of an absolute legend, but now we are actively discussing an Aaron Donald comeback. The news is hitting the wires that Donald is working out in anticipation of a potential return to the Los Angeles Rams, despite the complicated contract status hanging over his head. It is a massive surprise that changes the entire outlook of our defense, and there are two things we need to break down here: the reality of his current deal and the cap gymnastics required to make this work. The more details emerge, the wilder this situation becomes. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and drop your name and city in the comments. Let's get into it! Speculation regarding a potential return of legendary defensive tackle Aaron Donald to the Los Angeles Rams has intensified as the team prepares to report to training camp. Aaron Donald remains a monumental figure in our franchise history, having defined our defensive identity for years with his unmatched power and consistent dominance on the field. While he officially retired following the 2023 season, he continues to train to keep himself in football shape, fueling hope among the faithful that he might strap on his pads once more for Sean McVay. And I'll be straight with you, this situation is far more complex than simply welcoming a hero back home. According to Adam Schefter, the primary obstacle is his existing contract, which froze when he retired, leaving $30 million on the table for 2024. The Rams have already restructured his deal to clear $9.2 million in cap space, meaning the previous guarantees are gone. Experts like Jason Fitzgerald of Over the Cap suggest that a comeback would necessitate a brand new agreement because it is highly unlikely Donald would return without fresh financial guarantees. Our team currently lacks the $30 million in available cap space required to honor the old terms, forcing management to look at creative solutions like adding void years or potentially restructuring the contracts of Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams. For us fans, seeing Aaron Donald back in the mix creates a bittersweet tug of war between our deep respect for his legacy and the harsh realities of the current salary cap. We're left wondering if the organization can truly find a compromise that makes sense for both sides, or if the math is simply too daunting to overcome. The tension here lies in the specific financial maneuvering required. How exactly will the Rams bridge the gap between an $8 million target salary and the reality of a veteran demanding more? The most surprising reality regarding a potential Aaron Donald comeback is that his contract effectively froze at the exact moment he decided to walk away from the game. While we all admire his commitment to staying in football shape, the financial mechanics behind a return are far more complex than simply signing a new piece of paper. When Donald retired after the 2023 season, he left behind a massive $30 million figure, and according to Adam Schefter, the Rams are unlikely to simply hand that over without a serious sit-down to negotiate a compromise. Here's the thing nobody wants to say. The Rams have already paid out $33.5 million in signing bonuses that are now considered dead money, meaning there are no active guarantees left on his books. Historically, it is rare to see a superstar return to the same franchise under these unique salary cap constraints, especially since the front office would need to restructure deals for key players like Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams just to make the math work. Sean McVay and Stan Kroenke are undoubtedly weighing the impact of bringing back a legend against the long-term flexibility of the roster. Jason Fitzgerald from Over the Cap has suggested that Donald would likely seek more than his original deal, but the current cap situation forces the team to be creative with potential void years to manage the load. If the team manages to land him at a price point near $15 million, it would signal a massive win for our championship aspirations, yet the logistics remain a tightrope walk. We must wait and see if management can find a middle ground that balances our legendary defender's expectations with the harsh realities of a professional salary cap that currently lacks the room for his previous salary. With the details of a potential return finally out in the open, let us move to what this situation actually means for our outlook this year. Here's where it gets interesting, because the real stakes involve balancing our championship window with long-term financial stability. As we look at the salary cap, we currently lack the $30 million needed to honor his original deal, meaning we must either restructure the existing contracts of Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams or utilize creative void years to lower the immediate impact. If we can secure a deal around $15 million for the season, we maintain flexibility while keeping a future Hall of Fame talent on the field. This move would drastically alter our defensive depth chart, providing a massive boost to our pass rush and overall pressure rates. When we face our toughest opponents throughout the upcoming schedule, having that kind of disruptive force changes every single game plan from the opening kickoff. Regarding our standing in the NFC West, a return of this magnitude shifts our trajectory against division rivals like the 49ers and Seahawks, suddenly making us a much more imposing threat in the hunt for a playoff berth. While Adam Schefter has highlighted the complexities of contract negotiations, the potential reward of stabilizing our defensive front far outweighs the administrative headache of juggling the cap. It is a bold gamble that could define our season, but for those of us who have followed this team for years, the sight of him in a jersey again would be the ultimate morale boost. We have the pieces in place to make a serious run, and adding this veteran presence back into the fold would transform us from a team with potential into a genuine contender that nobody wants to see on their schedule in January. Bringing a legendary presence like Aaron Donald back into our defensive front would provide an unmatched psychological advantage for Sean McVay and the entire organization as we push toward the postseason. His ability to command double teams would instantly open up lanes for our younger pass rushers, potentially transforming our defense into a championship-caliber unit overnight. However, the financial reality remains quite daunting for the front office. Because his previous contract froze upon his retirement, we are navigating a complex landscape involving his former $30 million deal. The bottom line here is that balancing his desired compensation with our tight salary cap requires creative maneuvers, like restructuring the agreements of Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams, or utilizing void years to push cap hits into the future. Experts like Adam Schefter have highlighted the uncertainty regarding whether the Rams are willing to match that original $30 million figure, while Jason Fitzgerald of Over the Cap suggests that Donald will likely seek even more value if he chooses to suit up again. While the prospect of his return is undeniably thrilling for us as fans, I have to be real with you. I am somewhat skeptical that a deal can be reached without significant concessions from his side. The idea of paying a veteran who has been away from the game for 2 years such a massive premium feels like a gamble that could jeopardize our flexibility in other areas of the roster. While the idea of a homecoming is easy to romanticize, the cold arithmetic of professional football contracts often tells a different story. We have seen how quickly cap situations can become restrictive. And unless there is a meeting of the minds on a restructured, incentive-laden contract, this reunion might remain nothing more than a hopeful dream for the faithful supporters in Los Angeles. When we synthesize the latest reports from Adam Schefter with the complexities of the current salary cap situation, the picture that emerges is one of a franchise-balancing legendary legacy with long-term financial reality. This is where it gets real for the organization because navigating a potential return for Aaron Donald requires more than just goodwill. It demands a sophisticated restructuring of the entire roster, involving players like Matthew Stafford and Davante Adams to clear the necessary $30 million. For us as fans, we should feel a sense of cautious optimism, grounded in the understanding that our leadership under Sean McVay and Stan Kroenke is always looking for an edge. While the hurdle of finding guaranteed money in a contract that has already seen its bonuses paid out is significant, the possibility of seeing one of the greatest defensive players in history back on the field is an electrifying prospect. We know that the front office has options, including the use of void years, which keeps our window for contention open without forcing us to sacrifice the future of this team. The goal for the next few seasons remains clear: maintain a competitive edge while managing our resources wisely so we remain a force in the league. This is about calculated risks and the pursuit of championships. If you had to choose between the Rams signing Aaron Donald to an expensive short-term deal or focusing that same cap space on long-term roster depth, which path would you prefer to see us take? If you enjoyed the video, do not forget to like it and subscribe to the channel. Ram it. I'll see you in the next one. Meanwhile, make sure to hit that notification bell so you never miss a future update as we continue to break down all the latest team news.